Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome to a new video on my Scary Stories channel. Now, like I promised, although I found out that this video will not be as high as of a budget or whatever as I was planning, like I was gonna buy high budget, I'm buying stuff, it was gonna have a green screen that happens. Because I realized there's not really that many photos with the case, so it's just gonna look like a normal story with not many photos. So yeah, what is today's story? You've probably seen it on the screen, and that is the story. Well, if it wasn't for this story right here, one of the most popular horror film franchises wouldn't exist, which is The Conjuring. Woman. Because The Conjuring 1 is about the house, and if the Conjuring house incident didn't happen, then it would have probably just been Annabelle. Or who knows. Anyway, roll the intro. It's the longest actual intro ever, but roll the title card intro thing. Okay, here we go. The actual true story of the Conjuring house, namely the Perron family and Enfield hunting, is scarier than the movies themselves. When The Conjuring was released in 2013, it was met with critical acclaim. Critics everywhere praised it for its all too realistic portrayal of the demonic hunting of an innocent family in Rhode Island. Most viewers assumed that the movie was nothing but the wild imagining of director James Wan. Did they not watch The Conjuring? In the opening, when the title pops up, it says, inspired by the dramatic case of Ed and Lorraine, based on the case of Ed and Lorraine Warren. It says that in the opening, when the title card of Conjuring pops up. Before that, it says that it's based on a true story. So, how did they think it was made up when it says that in the title? What, did they go to the bathroom when that part popped up? However, the true story of The Conjuring is actually rooted in a horrifying true experience of Ed and Lorraine Warren. See? Allegedly, this is the oldest known photo of the Harrison family house, taken many years before the family moved in. Ed Warren was a World War II veteran and a former police officer. Became a self-professed demonologist after studying the subject on his own. His wife, Lorraine, claimed to be a clairvoyant and medium who was capable of committing with the demons that Ed discovered. In 1952, Ed and Lorraine Warren founded the New England Society for Physical Research, the oldest ghost hunting group in New England. They quickly gained notoriety as respected paranormal investigators after their initial investigation of the Amityville hauntings. So basically, if that, what I read, means that The Conjuring 2 takes place before The Conjuring 1. Because The Conjuring 1 is set in England. So that probably means that case that's in Conjuring 2. So Conjuring 2 is a prequel. Their two most famous cases, however, were heavily popularized by the Conjuring franchise, a series of movies that focus on Ed and Lorraine Warren's experience exorcising demons from two possessed families. Though the movies seem over-dramatized and impossible to believe, the Warrens maintain that all of the events depicted actually transpired. Though Ed died in 2006, Lorraine was a confluent on the film and claims that she didn't let the directors take any more dramatic license than was necessary. Nevertheless, the true story of The Conjuring remains almost unbelievably chilling to this day. The Pearson family minus Roger in January of 1971, shortly after moving into that haunted house. The true story of The Conjuring begins with the first film, which focuses on the Pearson family. In January 1971, the Pearson family moved into a 14-room farmhouse in Harrisonville, Rhode Island, where Colon, Roger, and their 5 daughters began to notice strange things happening most immediately after moving in. It started small. Caroline would notice that the broom went missing or seemed to move from place to place on its own. She would hear the sound of something scraping against the kettle in the kitchen when no one was in there. She'd find, I think they mean found, probably bad grammar. It's probably from a UK site or something. Someplace that don't have that good of English. She found small pieces of dirt in the center of a newly cleaned kitchen floor. The girls began to notice spirits around the house, though for the most part they were harmless. There were a few, however, that were angry. The angry one probably just wants a hug. Just give him a hug. Wait, it's a spirit. You can't touch it. Still, try to give it a hug. That's all it wants. It's a hug. Caroline allegedly researched the history of the home and discovered that it had been in the same family for 8 generations, that many of them had died under mysterious or horrible circumstances. Several of the children had drowned in a nearby creek, one was murdered, and a few of them hanged themselves in the attic. The spirit that was depicted in the film, Debasupa, was the worst of them all. Whoever the spirit was, she deceived herself to be mistress of the house, and she resented the complication my mother posed for that position. The oldest of the 5 girls, okay? Adria, Karen. It turns out there was actually a real person named Bathsheba Sherman who lived on the Pearson property in the mid-1800s. She was rumored to have been a Satanist. There was evidence that she had been involved in the death of a neighbor's child. Though no trial took place, she was buried in a nearby Baptist ceremony in downtown Harrisonville. The Pearsons believed that it was Bathsheba's spirit that was tormenting them. According to Adria. Oh wait, Adrian. Not Adrian. The family experienced other spirits as well that smelled like rotten flesh and would cause beds to rise off the floor. She claimed her father would enter the basement and feel a cold, stinking presence behind them. They often stayed away from the dirt floor cellar, but the heating equipment would often fail mysteriously, causing Roger to venture down. Over the 10 years that the family lived in the house, the Warrens made multiple trips to investigate. At one point, Lorraine conducted a seance to attempt to contact spirits that were possessing the family. During the seance, Caroline Perrin became possessed, speaking in tongues, and raising from the ground in her chair. There's the grave of that Baba Toza. Thank you, Baba Toza. Adria claims to have secretly witnessed this sense. I thought I was going to pass out. Adria said, my mother began to speak a language not of this world, and a voice not her own. Her chair levitated and she was thrown across the room. Scariest part in the Conjuring film. The ending. Though the movie version of events comments with Ed performing an exorcism rather than a saint, Lorraine insists that she and her husband would never attempt one, as they must be performed by Catholic priests. After the scenes, Roger kicked the Warrens out, worried about his wife's mental stability. According to Adria, the family continued to live in the house due to financial instability. They were able to move in 1980, at which point the spirits were silenced and the haunting ceased. The infield hauntings. I'm going to read a little bit more of this because I don't have much storage space left. What was it? One of the Hudson girls caught on camera being flung from her bed. Six years after the Pearson family was traumatized by their demon, another family in Anfield, England, began to experience similar things. Oh, it was in England. No, it was Rhode Island. In August of 1977, okay, I think this goes on the Conjuring 2 story, so yeah, that was it for the Conjuring. If it wasn't for this case that Ed and Lane Warren investigated, the Conjuring franchise wouldn't exist story. So yeah. Oh, and also, I forgot in the Amityville video to show a famous photo that Lorraine Warren took. Here's that photo. I'm not really, guys, gonna read it with show my face after the person. I'm just gonna scroll through and y'all can read it. So you can pause and read that. Pause and read that. Can pause and read that. And can pause and read that. And that's the end of this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Bye. And remember, look behind you.